Hello, welcome to Local Anesthetic Podcast, your regular injection of strange, weird, banal news stories from locally and around the world. My name is Alex, and joining us as always is Rob. How you doing there, Rob? Hopefully we'll have no power cuts this week.
Hello! Yes, hopefully not. I don't know why that happened. I don't know why it is this area where we have these, happens a lot in the mornings, we have momentary power cuts literally for like a couple of seconds at a time.
I didn't know that. How often does that happen?
I think the last time we recorded is the last one we've had, but prior to that, we were having them almost daily. And
wow, because that would reset your internet connection as well every time, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I've got a lot of smart devices in my house, Alex. It really bugs. So, yeah.
Do you think it could be to do with living near a train track?
No.
I don't know what.
That seems like a ridiculous suggestion.
Is it, though? I don't know. Maybe there's just a faulty wire it keeps on going over.
Well, you'd hope if they were laying wires over train tracks, they would have realised the error by now. But
so, have you rung the electricity board to say, listen, pal, sort this out?
Alex, they've stopped taking my calls. After I tried to bill them for my loss of usage for seconds at a time, they really didn't want to speak to me after that point.
Okay, last question. Are you in a UFO sighting hotspot? Could it be something to do with that kind of thing where nefarious, do you know what I mean? These craft are emitting certain electromagnetic frequencies that are knocking out your electricity? Well,
actually, did I tell you that last time Biden came over, we saw Air Force One fly over? Because obviously he lands at Stansted. All US presidents land at Stansted.
What's that got to do with aliens?
I'm not saying that I'm not going to get all David-like about this. But you know where I'm going, right?
Last question. I did say the last one was the last, but just as, does Lara have access to the fuse box? Because that could be your answer. She's just flicking a switch, mate.
Sorry, are we not supposed to let children play with fuse boxes?
No, so that's
she likes to turn the lights on and off, though.
It's your daughter.
Oh, yeah, that could be it. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, I'll give that some thought, Alex.
Or the only other possibility could be there's a neighbour or somebody else you've pissed off who is engaging in a systematic campaign by, they've got some sort of access.
I mean, I have to say, as you know, as you've seen, the car park at the back, the spaces there are highly cherished and highly prized. And I do feel that at times that could come to blows.
Right. Well, let's get on with this, Robert. If there's no news, I'm anxious to get on with this.
No, we can crack on.
This is a good opportunity, I feel, to start working through some of the stories I've had in my inbox for a while. This is from globalnews.ca, which is a Canadian website, by Catherine Manny. So some of these are a bit old because I've just had them around, really wanted to cover them, haven't had time. This is from July 26th of this year. From their Global News section, woman rescued from mountain after trying to save her scared pet parrot.
We've often said that there's a lot that we have to unpick from these stories, but has she gone climbing with a parrot?
Well, we'll get into that. But Rob, I can't remember if it was last episode or the episode before, and we mention it frequently, the idea of if we had a database of all our stories,
yes,
certain themes would crop up regularly. And one we've never mentioned is we have probably had quite a high number in terms of ratio over the years of parrot-related stories.
We have.
I'm thinking we have had a few. I even had one last week about a guy with 3 parrots on his shoulder who, was threatening people, wasn't he, with a knife?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Alex, did you just do that on your screen?
Did I just do what?
There was just a weird thumbs up, thought bubble appeared.
That means somebody else is on our call?
I don't know what that means. No, it was like an animation on the screen.
Yeah, but there is a facility, isn't there, to do that on Google Meet? Look, so that's a hands up.
No. I know what that looks like, but that wasn't what I saw. Okay, that was bizarre. Never mind. Well, Karen,
No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't just let that slide, Rob. We could be. The aliens could have joined us. Hang on. Did it look like this?
No. It literally looked like a thought bubble about the size of your head with a thumbs up.
Rob, and you're just wanting to dismiss that as not important.
Well, I'm scared, Alex. I'm just going to continue. Yes, we have had a lot of parrot-related...
Oh, hang on. I've got this thing called reactions on my beta. Hang on. Reactions. Let me see. Oh, here. Did it look like this?
Yes, that is exactly it.
Right. So this is a new thing on the new operating system on Apple Macs, which I didn't know it would allow me to interact with Google Meet, but I haven't pressed anything unless there's some sort of shortcut so I can do this, Rob, for you. Describe for the listener.
Right, it's a load of red floating hearts that sort of move up the screen in sort of 3-dimensional hearts, yeah.
Yeah.
A thumbs down emoji.
Hey!
That's quite nice, I like that. It's balloons.
Quite clever. It's using AI, isn't it? Look, because it's actually going around me. That's very clever.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob, I'm having a bit of a hard day.
Yeah, and Alex is now in a rainstorm, listeners. A confetti shower.
Aye.
Right.
These are actually very clever.
Well, okay, and there's a laser show. Again, I have to say, it does look quite good. Alex, right? I feel we're getting distracted.
Okay, last one, Rob.
And some fireworks.
That's really impressive. But they're as good as a gimmick. But I wouldn't want to be if I'm in a work call with people and they're, I don't know, praising something I've said by setting off fireworks. It's going to be distracting.
Yeah, but Alex, that's what I mean. That emoji or that reaction came apropos of nothing. You didn't do anything. It just appeared on the screen.
I must have pressed a shortcut, but look at this, Rob. I've actually put myself in portrait, so the background is blurred behind me, which is quite nice.
Alex, I just have to remind you that of course the podcasts are an audio format, and so everything we're describing for the listeners may be extremely tedious.
All right, mate. Listen, a woman who was part of a group of parrot owners out on an excursion in Wales went to great lengths to retrieve her scared pet.
Sorry.
Oh, it's a Welsh story, Rob. I should have got it from the Wales Online if it's there.
Are you telling me that a group of parrot fanciers met her for a walk in the countryside?
I am looking at a picture, Rob, of a group of middle-aged people standing around in a very picturesque part of Wales. There's sort of mountains in the background.
Sure.
There's a big lake. They're all wearing red. They're like hiking gear, and they've all got parrots on their shoulders or arms, Rob.
Why?
Yeah. The parrot enthusiasts were walking in Cwm Idwal, an amphitheatre-like valley popular with hikers and rock climbers, when they let their feathered friends stretch their wings. As the parrots were flying overhead, a peregrine falcon attacked them, causing one of the parrots to fly off, according to a Facebook from Welsh Mountain Rescuers. So they call themselves the Mountain Rescuers. Don't know if they've ever rescued anybody from a mountain. They can't even fucking find this parrot. They're useless.
Hang on, they don't use the parrots for mountain rescue because the parrots aren't known for their mountain rescue abilities, as far as I'm aware.
No. The parrot's owner had a tracker on the bird and used it to follow her pet up the cliffs of Glydir Fawr, a mountain that has an elevation of 1,000 metres at its peak.
Nice.
The woman brought 2 parrots out that day, so she scaled the cliff with her second bird in tow. He's up the peak.
Sure.
But when the woman reached her frightened parrot, it flew off again. So it didn't really want her there. So she found that she got to the fucking top of the mountain. It went, fuck off. It flew off.
I mean, sorry, am I missing the point here? But this bird can fly.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Right, this is an all-time classic. Rob, have I missed the point? This bird can fly. It's a bird. It can fly, Rob.
But this is what I mean.
It's not.
It wasn't stuck up a
Parrots
mountain.
can fly. No, nobody said it was stuck. A peregrine falcon came and attacked the group and the birds.
Right.
This parrot flew off, so I'm not fucking dealing with this peregrine falcon, and flew off. And it nested somewhere at the top of this mountain. She got to the top of the mountain, found it, but it flew off from her as well.
Right, okay.
And yes, birds can fly, apart from penguins.
Well, that's my point. She didn't need to rescue the bird in the first place.
What do you mean? Just leave it there and go home?
It will come back eventually.
Unfortunately, the parrot decided freedom was great and flew back down to the group unassisted, leaving the owner and a second bird now stuck. The Hogan Valley Mountain Rescue Organisation wrote. So It did fly down to the group unassisted, as you said, but she's now stuck up the mountain with her other bird.
Well, if anything, Alex, it serves all right.
How did I leave this story? While the parrot had no problem descending the mountain, its owner needed a bit of assistance. A mountain rescue team was deployed to bring the woman back down safely. After hiking to the base of the cliff, a rescuer was belayed up to the woman's location. On arrival at the casualty, Jekyll, the second parrot, perched on her owner's rucksack, greeted the mountain rescue team member with, "Hello!" The post reads. I just want to say, that wasn't me doing the voice of the episode and as an injunction. That was a parrot. Hi, Rob! That's a parrot, not the episode.
Thank you for making that distinction.
Both parrot and owner were safely lowered to the ground and guided off the mountain by rescuers. This isn't the first animal rescue to take place in the UK this year. In May, rescuers had to use a stretcher to bring an injured and exhausted dog down from Scaffold Pike.
Sorry, an injured and exhausted dog as the episode title?
Potentially stick it on the board. Despite being quite a large dog at 33 kilograms, it was a joy to carry such a relatively lightweight casualty, they said. The casualty remained cool, calm and positively regal throughout. I think I got confused there. I think I called these people mountain rescuers. Oh, I see, they're not. Oh, right, okay. The picture I was looking at was not the parrot fanciers. The picture I'm looking at of the people dressed in red are the mountain rescuers who, now they've rescued the woman, are posing with the parrots.
Oh, I see.
So we don't actually know what the... Right, so I just want to be clear. They don't call themselves the mountain rescuers.
Can I just want to clarify... Oh, no, okay, no, that makes sense, yeah, because I was about to say, the people in the picture, do they have mountain rescue on their uniforms? But they would do, obviously, because you mistakenly mistook them for this walking group. Anyway, continue, Alex.
Yeah, they do. They've got kind of like patches with symbols on them, like there's a cross and so, those sort of symbols, probably some sort of secretive brotherhood behind it, that kind of thing, Rob.
Anyway. Right, okay. Sure, that's fine.
Yeah, they rule the world, Rob.
Yeah.
Right, let's go to Fox 35 Orlando. We also have an inordinate amount of stories from the sort of Florida area. Florida man stories, Rob. This was from August the 2nd by Matt Trezor from Fox35Orlando.com. Brilliant story. Florida man posed as US Marshal with flashing lights and siren on truck.
Lovely. Yeah.
At Summerfield, Florida, the Marion County Sheriff's Office said a deputy pulled over a man who's accused of posing as a US Marshal. The sheriff's deputy was getting gas when he saw a pickup truck go by with lights and a siren he didn't recognise. So he followed it down the road and pulled the driver over, and it was a good thing he did. Derry Lambert was pulled over on Highway 301 in Marion County. His truck was outfitted with flashing lights and a siren similar to the ones used by law enforcement officers. He told the deputy he was US Marshal on assignment in Florida and that he was from Texas. So he actually kept it. If I'm being stopped by the police, I'm thinking, okay, I'm banged to rights here. Yeah. He doubles down.
Fair play for him. Fair play for that. I think you have to give him credit for the fact that he's going to try and style it out.
Yeah, he said, I work at Texas, but they got me down at Florida right now, looking into Marion Oaks, he claimed. There's two gangs out there that are riding on a four-wheeler with a pole on it, busting into people's houses. So I love this. Very specific lie,
Sorry,
Rob.
A four-wheeler with a pole on it? What does that mean?
I don't know. The story just didn't add up, according to the deputy, like you, Rob. After a while, an actual US Marshal showed up, who was assigned to Marion County. He then grilled Lambert. So where'd you work out of Texas, the Marshal asked. Dallas, Lambert replied. Dallas, what's your district? District? What do you mean? Well, the Marshal said, if you're a US Marshal, you'd know your district. Deputies found a gun in the car and medications for which Lambert did not have a prescription.
Great.
They said it was, can I just say medications? No. They said it was a good thing some real-life law enforcement got Lambert off the streets. The public places a lot of trust in us. We recognise that. There's a great deal of power and control here from law enforcement to keep the peace. When someone is trying to interfere with that unlawfully, we take it very serious. Lambert is facing a laundry list of charges stemming from allegedly impersonating a law enforcement officer. Deputies are asking anyone who he may have contacted while posing as US Marshal to please give them a call. What a fantastic story.
Alex, can I ask a quick question? I don't know what a US Marshal is. Is it a police officer?
I was going to say, so can you look it up for us?
Yeah, sure. So they're above police officers by the looks of it.
Oh, they're responsible for apprehending wanted fugitives, providing protection for the federal judiciary. Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite a cool job.
It does, actually.
You want to be a US Marshal, Rob?
Not right now, Alex, no. I've got bigger fish to fry.
Okay, Rob, you got some stories for us?
Yeah, I'm just going to start this very, very quickly. I happened to come across this a few weeks back. We've covered Mr. Orlando Williams on numerous occasions. I'm not going to go into...
Whoa, Rob. We didn't script this. We've just gone from Orlando, Florida.
I know.
To Orlando, who owns the not a restaurant, not a B&B Orlando's in, is it Norwich?
In Norwich, correct, yes. So this story, which is a very potted history of his background, obviously we know that he was running an unlicensed... Hang on, sorry. Was running an unlicensed Japanese, Indian and fried chicken restaurant.
Okay, that's changed because he was Japanese. So now he's serving Indian food and fried chicken. I mean, look,
of course he is.
It sounds delicious.
And just to say, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe it's a fusion of all three. Who knows? And obviously, legitimately does run a bed and breakfast that he has a license for that. Anyway, apparently someone has painted his portrait. So Ras Farouk Zaka, 41, who normally paints Norfolk landscapes, could not turn down the opportunity to paint the cook after a food blogger approached him with the commission, and his partner, Iana Hunt, also an artist, told him he could not turn it down. So there's a very nice portrait of...
Rob, I'm going to the Eastern Daily Press. Oh, this is the legendary Orlando Williams.
Yes. We've not seen him before.
See, now I haven't. I kind of like him now. Now I've seen his picture. He looks very sort of...
Have you got
Hang on a minute. How can you say that's not a restaurant? I'm looking at the fucking building with the huge sign outside Orlando's telephone number with a website.
Yeah.
He's even got a fucking awning over the door, Rob, like a sort of a banner.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen the portrait?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's very good. I love the fact he's reading the Eastern Daily Press with the headline,
I know,
"Man denies turning home his restaurant."
We need somebody, but he has to. But is he? But this is sort of Trump levels of delusion. This is gaslighting of the extreme. Standing in a house you've turned into a restaurant, saying, "I haven't turned my house into a restaurant."
Yeah. It's quite meta. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alex, we're going to leave that there, and we're going to leave Norwich from Manchester. Now, I don't know how I missed this story. It is over a year old, so I apologise for that. I know, but I feel we had a duty to report on it. So this is from the Manchester Evening News from the 15th of March 2022 by both Andrew Robinson and Sophie Hale Richards. And the headline is... Big Baps Cafe next to where men from Manchester hold dogging parties say it's costing them £100 a week.
Right. So this is the place where they're doing the dogging behind, and this establishment is saying, "Look, this is costing us money."
Yes, basically. So
is it clean up?
They do. What's the delightful phrase they use? Actually, I think it's towards the end of the article. Sex litter.
I've never heard that phrase. Brilliant. Sex litter.
Which is also good name for a band, I feel. It feels like a punk band, Sex Litter.
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. Punk bands, yeah. Playing some, yeah.
So the owners of a popular roadside cafe near a popular sex hotspot say the goings-on are costing them £100 a week in takings. So Amanda Bissett, who runs the Big Bats Cafe in nearby lay-by just off the M62 at Brighouse.
Sorry, Rob. Is it Big Baps Cafe?
No, it's Big Baps Cafe.
With a P?
Yeah, with a P.
Right,
with a P,
Right. So, I don't know about you, Rob, but for me, Bap has always been also a euphemism for a breast. Right? So, Big Baps Cafe, if you don't want people to be using around the back of Big Baps as some sort of sex parlour, don't call your place Big Baps. Because it has such a connotation.
Well, also, I think
for any other international listeners, Baps are sort of
it's a euphemism for breasts. Yeah. Also, they very much play on that euphemism as well, because the picture of them is basically a slightly large. It's a well-endowed lady holding a sandwich.
Right, I'm gonna have to look this up.
It is just it's not a photograph, Alex. Just to let you know, it is just a picture.
No, that's fine. Big Baps Cafe. Big Baps. It's not called Bigger Baps, it's called Big Baps, is it?
It is Big Baps. It's on the M62 near Brighouse.
Big Baps Cafe suddenly... Have you got the update from this? There's an update.
Is there?
Oh, I'll cover the update for you then. I'm just having a... Okay. Yeah. Right, anyway, go on. You read the story, I'll do the update.
So, Shannon Retton said she and a business partner see 2 or 3 doggers every morning as they serve lorry drivers their breakfast. She claims the men come from Manchester, and sometimes so many of them turn up in. There's no room for lorry drivers to park in the lay-by. She estimated the cafe loses about £100 a week due to customers being unable to find a parking spot.
So what's going on around your parking area, is it?
I don't think so. Apparently she's been campaigning for months about men who park up and meet other men for sex in woodland behind the cafe. Amanda said the police have visited the cafe to discuss problems and had mentioned patrols taking place. He reluctantly went for a walk around and said they would patrol, but I've not seen anything since. He said there's it's something that they're always aware of, but it's not a priority. They might put up signs up, but they haven't went in 2 years, so...
Rob, I don't fully I've never... For some reason, I've never quite got my head around exactly what dogging is. Can you properly help me, or should we look it up? Wikipedia?
Well, I can tell you, Alex. I've never tried it myself, but the idea is that...
Right, I've got the Wikipedia as well.
Right.
Back up.
Hang on, there's a Wikipedia article on dogging.
Yes.
Right.
Hang on. Right, go on. So you tell me first, and then we'll look it up.
Well, from my understanding, it's people who enjoy meeting for clandestine sex. Usually, they're people who don't know each other, so there'll be like a predetermined meeting location, and they will often have sex in cars. And I believe with dogging as well, there'll often be other spectators who may also watch the act.
You're right. Basically, it's sexual acts in public, watching others doing so. There may be more than 2 participants. So these are, right, okay.
So apparently one man came into the actual cafe and said, what's this? We told him it was a polite notice and why we left it there. He said, I don't give a shit about the key workers. Please leave us alone. He was here to go down the back to have public sex. Amanda says that the sex litter problem has not gone away. There are litter signs on the lay-by, but visitors continue to discard condoms and condom wrappers. This... Alex, can I say the facial making is delightful?
Oh, it's only because, Rob, did you know there was as well as dogging, have you ever heard of hogging?
No, I can't say I have, Alex.
Hogging refers to the practice of groups of men who target overweight or obese women, typically for sexual encounters. They're not necessarily attracted to the women's bodies. They aim to manipulate their emotional state to derive amusement for themselves and their friends by engaging in sexual activities with women who are overweight.
That's disgusting. I mean, and disgraceful at the same time.
Yeah, okay.
So just a few comments. I have obviously paraphrased that story, but I think you get the gist. Van Halen says, are they still banging on about this? Northern Paris says, doggers losing £100 a week. That's woof. Doesn't really work, but that's okay. Interesting says, 2-hour parking restrictions. Does it not mean 2 minutes? I don't believe it says, I wonder if they do a door-to-door service. You get the gist anyway. So, Alex, what's the update on this story?
The update is from the Yorkshire Live from September 9th of September 2022 by Andrew Robinson. Big Baps Cafe suddenly disappears, leaving piles of rubbish at sex hotspot with plan for new diner.
Oh, God.
So basically, the owner of the now infamous Big Baps Cafe has explained why the well-known cabin has suddenly disappeared. So basically, she says that they've invested in a new diner-style modern cabin that will be able to seat, Rob, at least 16 customers.
Wow.
A marked improvement on the previous cabin. The new cabin will have windows so customers can watch the world go by. And presumably watch
the dogging out the back. Yeah. Delightful, Alex. Absolutely delightful.
Okay, Rob, it's time for our listener story of the week. What you got? Who's it from?
So this is from Face the Strange. It is
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. It's a recent story, as there's no date on here. It doesn't help. But it's by Imogen Folks. This is a great story. Oh, sorry, it's from the BBC website, I should say. Headline is High Altitude Heist Shocks Switzerland.
High Altitude Heist?
Yeah.
So, okay. I mean, I'm very intrigued.
So, thieves in Switzerland have conquered one of the most challenging protected climbing routes. So, they ascended to an altitude of 2,350 metres and traversed gorges on narrow steel cables, or to rob a collection box.
What's a collection? Sorry, like you mean like where you have those little boxes on like a counter of a store and people put pennies in them?
Yes, that's correct, yes.
Why would you go to these lengths to do that unless... Right.
Yeah. Okay. So the box belongs to a local climbing club, which maintains Switzerland's longest protected climbing route on the Gemmi Pass above Lukabad village. What's caused the biggest shot is the donation box is only accessible to the most experienced climbers. The route, known as the Via Ferrata, is classified as a level 5, the most difficult, and involves serious climbing as well as ascending ladders bolted into the vertical rock face and traversing gorges on narrow steel cables.
Sorry, Rob, hang on a minute. Isn't that cheating, climbing mountains that have ladders welded to the walls? I mean, anyone can do that. I could do that. I could climb Everest with some ladders. So
you're maintaining that apparently one of the most difficult climbing routes in the world is actually just cheating because they're using ladders.
Yeah, it's piss, mate.
Right. Okay. Would you like to... What kind of people are these, wrote the climb group on its Facebook page. The climbing club looks after the Via Ferrata for no salary. We don't ask for anything, and now someone has stolen the money donated to maintaining it. Those who discovered the theft believe it was carefully planned well in advance. The donation box was found smashed open and empty. The thieves were not only good climbers equipped with all the necessary Mancunian gear, they also took tools to break open the donation box with brute force. Alex, it doesn't end there, by the way. So,
sorry, what? You haven't explained why they've done this. So is this just a sort of malicious, petty act? Because there isn't really anything of value in there, is there?
Well, we'll come on to that. Astonishingly, it appears that they continued their ascent with the money to the top of the Duberhorn at 2,941 metres. So they didn't stop there, then go back, Alex. They thought, well, we've come this far, we may as well finish the trail.
Did they find that parrot?
Quite possibly. So to answer your question, by the way, they don't know exactly how much was in the donation tin, but apparently the club member and mountain guide Richard Werlen estimated that it was between 400 and 500 Swiss francs, which is approximately 359 to 449 pounds.
It's not a lot.
No, it's not.
For that sort of route. But it seems to me it was more about the bragging rights.
I believe so. Also, the article does go on to say, and this is just a bit of colourful background, apparently the prevalence of cash in Switzerland is still very... What am I trying to say? The prevalenceness... There we are. That's what they're... The prevalenceness of cash in Switzerland has already led to a spate of robberies of far better off protected ATM machines. So apparently, Switzerland hasn't moved on to the cashless, contactless thing. They still rely on cash.
Rob, this episode really should be called Twin Peaks. Why?
Because we started a climbing story, we ended with a climbing story.
And we had a story about Big Baps.
Also true. Yes.
Well, everybody, that brings episode 405 to a close. We very much enjoyed your company as always. Look, if you want to leave us a small tip or a big tip, not a euphemism, go to LAPodcast.net. From there you can download all of our episodes, by the way, if you don't fancy doing it on the podcast. That's for anybody who wants to... We don't know, Rob. Anything could happen in the future with these podcast apps, with these companies. If they're all closed down or something happened to all of that material, where would it be? Well, luckily, it's all hosted on our own website where you can download every single episode since the dawn of LA Podcast. And there is a PayPal button in the top right-hand corner where you can donate to the worthy cause that's this podcast. And I've been forgetting to say, Rob, that anybody who does donate automatically gets access to all the extra jab episodes we did that were on Patreon. They can't be found anywhere else. There were over 40 of those, weren't they? So if you donate, even a pound, is that right, Rob? They get those episodes and all the Daft Talk episodes we did. So it is worth doing, but we'd appreciate it, and leave us a review and do all that good stuff. Very much enjoyed your company. As always, we'll be back in a week's time with episode 406. God bless.
And keep it local.